Hi, welcome back to a new episode of the Guys Book Club in the World Book Club. Yeah. And today, guys, we are on extreme special episode. Because today, guys, we are on episode number 330, guys. 330 episode, guys. We are getting really close to 333, and it's going to be look nice. I think it's going to look nice. But anyway, guys, if you're new to the channel, welcome, and if you're already familiar with the channel, welcome back. My name is Zach Amdos, and this podcast, guys, I want to together on English speaking level, reading level, and on communication skill to stand in front of the camera and to communicate well before the camera. I'm doing this podcast because I truly believe that English is the number one tool that teaches one of us to come in order to be successful in life, and a second tool that is going to help us a lot. It's in order to get out to communicate well before the camera. If you take those two skills and you can combine them together, you can come into the internet and you can influence billions of people all around the universe and the world and the universe. So it's highly recommended to work with the skills and share with the world because I truly believe that it's really important, in my opinion, that you, the ladies and gentlemen that are watching the podcast, you will share your message with the world. And I think that by sharing with you guys my own journey, how I overcome the obstacles that I'm facing from podcasting, five extremely exciting episodes per week, the ups and downs, the failures, the success, everything, and what I learned for the process. I inspire the people like you, the ladies and gentlemen that are watching the podcast. I'm inspiring you to also do the same, to also work on the skills, work on English, and work on your English and appearance on the camera, and so you can show your message to the world. So, like for you guys. And today, guys, we got this princess behind me. She said, you can see she said because after the episode yesterday ended, she said, hey, yeah, I can't think about it that the episode just ended. I really want to go to the podcast and I can't wait to the new episode. And here she is. She said she want to come to the podcast, and now she's come to the podcast. And if you want to check her out, you know where you can find her on 3, 2, 1, kabam. Wait a minute, it's a navigation screen. Kabam, you can find her on Good Fun. And this is going to background upload to Good Fun Bananas and Valinka on 8 October 2017. And it's downloaded already 2,520 times. And of course, we like the video. I also like the video, but like the background. And if you want to download the picture, you just need to choose the resolution from here. Press download. Right click on the picture. Go to שמירת תמונת בשם מילים ועושה picturesque in English and type down in comment below what it is in language and almost meaning to guess from your around the universe. Press on it. Choose the moment to save it on computer. Press save and comment just like that you will get this great background on computer. So thank you very much for the artist who made this great background. Thank you very much for Valinka for sharing this great background with us. And today we are continuing our journey with influence by woman be Cialdini influence the psychology of persuasion. And I can tell you guys that I learned on each episode I learned something new from this book about influence, about methods to influence us, and like the expensive equal good, and you can hire the price and then return back to your own price, and that is automatic things in our mind that are automatic triggers that we don't think about. Just to start when plays automatic buttons that people are playing on them, we just automatically respond, and it's really important. I think it's really important to be aware of that, and this is one of the reasons that I read in this book, to learn from it and to be aware of this method. And guys, if you want to check out this grand background, if you want to check out the book and Robert B. Cialdini social media account, you got all the link in the description below, so make sure to check them, like them, and learn from them. And of course, guys, if anyone of you have any suggestion for me, for myself for the podcast, or if anyone of you want to come to the podcast, they get to the podcast, share your message with the world, inspire the world, and make us see the difference because we're here. And we'll just have a good time with me because, you know, Marina has again English. Please leave it in the comment below so we can arrange it. And of course, guys, you're more than welcome to share with us your own wisdom. Maybe you learn something from the podcast, maybe something for me or the book, maybe last quote, or maybe you learned your life lessons from somewhere else. Please share with us in the comment section below so all of the community can enrich our life and improve ourselves thanks to your wisdom. So thank you very much in advance for doing so. And one thing, guys, before we jump to the book, if you enjoy the process, if you like the video, if you learn something new from the channel, please show your support to the channel by liking the video, sharing with your friends, subscribing to the channel, put the notification bell so you'll be notified ting on each of the extremely exciting episodes that are coming to YouTube. And it's going to be 5 extremely exciting episodes per week, and now we are going to get this special number. special episode number. Special number episode free. It's going to be just cool thing, savage thing. And that's it, guys. Just 1, 2, 3, 4 clicks from your side. Like, share, subscribe, and notification. And it's going to be it's going to make a really big impact on me. So thank you very much, guys, if you can do it. And today it's Sunday, Monday, it's Thursday. It's Thursday, 24 on March 2022, and the sub counts is we have 2 subscribers to the channel. So shout out to you guys. You're great. And the total views of the videos on the channel are 316. And guys, without an introduction, let's just dive right into the book. So, Influence, the Psychology of Persuasion by Robert B. Kennedy, page 19 to 22. Chapter 1, Weapon of Influence, read by Damit Zaled, Mr. John, please. Mr. John, please. Mr. John, please. So, boy, hey, yeah. So let's go. And this game will get until because of the condition. So we're going to put our back and switch on. Let's go. An example is in order. There is a principle in human perception. The contrast principle. The contrast principle that affects the way we see the difference between 2 things that are represented one after another. Simply put, if the second item is fairly different from the first, we will tend to see it as more different than it actually is. So if we lift a light object first and then lift a heavy object, we will estimate the second project to be heavier than if we had lifted it without first trying the light one. The contrast principle is well established in the field of psychophysics, and applies to all sorts of perceptions beside weight. If we are talking to a beautiful woman at a cocktail party and are then joined by an unattractive one, the second woman will strike us as less attractive than she actually is. In fact, studies done with the contrast principle at Arizona State and the Montana State universities suggest that we might be less satisfied with the physical attractiveness of our own lovers because of the way the popular media bombard us with examples of unrealistically attractive models. In one study, college students rated a picture of an average-looking member of the opposite sex as less attractive if they had first looked for the ads in some popular magazines. In another study, male college dormitory residents rated the photo of a potential blind date. Those who did so while watching an episode of the Charlie's Angels TV series viewed the blind date as a less attractive woman than those who rated her while watching a different show. Apparently, it was the uncommon beauty of the angels, female stars that made the blind date seem less attractive. A nice demonstration of perceptual contrast is sometimes employed in psychophysics laboratories to introduce students to the principle firsthand. Each student takes a turn sitting in front of 3 pails of water, one cold, one at room temperature, and one hot. After placing one end in the cold water and in the hot water, the student is told to place both in the lukewarm water simultaneously. The look of amazed bewilderment that immediately registers tells the story. Even though both ends are in the same water, in the same bucket, the end that has been in the cold water feels as if it is now the end that has been in the cold water feels as if it is now in the hot water, while the one that was in the hot water feels as if it is now in cold water. The point is that the same thing, in this instant room temperature water, can be made to seem very different, depending on the nature of the event that precedes it. Be assured that the nice little weapon of influence provided by the contrast principle does not go unexploited. The great advantage of this principle is not only that it works, but also that it is virtually undetectable. Those who employ it can cash in on its influence without any appearance of having structured the situation in their favor. Retail, retail closures are a good example. Suppose a man enters a fashionable men's store and says that he wants to buy a three-piece suit and a sweater. If you were the salesperson, which would you show him first to make him likely to spend the most money? Maybe the suit and after that the sweater. Because if you use the suit, the sweater will look much more less attractive and much cost higher, more expensive, so the suit will be sold. Clothing stores instruct the salesperson to sell the costly item first. Damn. Common sense might suggest the reverse. If a man has just spent a lot of money to purchase suit, he might be reluctant to spend very much more on the purchase of a sweater. But the closer is no better. They behave in accordance with what the contrast principle would suggest. Sell the suit first. Sell the suit first. Sell the suit first. Sell the suit first. Because when it comes time to look at sweatshirts, even expensive ones, the prices will not seem as high in comparison. And I thought, hey, I think it's going to be look higher, but I won't. A man might balk at the idea of spending $95 for a sweatshirt. But if he has just bought a 495 sweatshirts, dollar suit, a $95 sweatshirt does not seem excessive. The same principle applies to a man who wishes to buy the exorcist shirt, shoes, belt to go along with his new suit. Contrary to the common sense view, the evidence supports the contrast principle prediction. As sales motivation analysts Whitney Obin and Murphy state, the interesting thing is that even when a man enters a clothing store with the express purpose of purchasing a suit, he will almost always pay more for whatever accessories he buys if he buys them after the suit purchase than before. That's right. I never thought about it. It is much more profitable for salespeople to present the expensive item first, not only because to fail to do so will lose the influence of the contrast principle. To fail to do so will also cause the principle to work actively against them. Presenting an inexpensive product first and following it with an expensive one will cause the expensive item to seem even more costly as a result. Hardly desirable consequences for most sales organizations. So, just as it is possible to make the same bucket of water appear to be hotter or colder, depending on the temperature of previously presented water, it is possible to make the price of the same item seem higher or lower, depending on the price of a previously presented item. So if you take cold shower, let's think. If you take cold shower, so you can go to extremely cold shower and then move it up a little bit. So now you feel like it's hotter. Yeah. Then rather than put hot water and then move the cold shower. Point for thinking. Clever use of perceptual contrast is by no means confined to closures. I came across a technique that engaged the contrast principle while I was while I was investigating undercover the compliance tactics of real estate companies. To learn the ropes, I was accompanying a company reality salesman on a weekend of showing houses to prospective home buyers. The salesman, we can call him Phil, was to was to give me tips to help me through my break-in period. One thing I quickly noticed was that whenever Phil began showing a new set of customers potential buys, he would start with a couple of undesirable houses. I asked him about it, and he left. And he left. They were what he called setup properties. The company maintained a rundown house or two on its list as at inflated prices. Those houses were not intended to be sold to customers, but to be shown to them, so that the general properties in the company's inventory would benefit from the comparison. Not all the sales staff made use of the houses, and made use of the houses, but Phil did. He said he liked to watch his prospects' eyes light up when he showed the place he really wanted to sell them after they had seen the rundown houses. The house I got them spotted for looks really great after they first looked at a couple of dumps. Automobile dealers use the contrast principle by waiting until the price for a new car has been negotiated before suggesting one option after another that might be added. In the back of a $15,000 deal, the hundred or so dollars required for an IST like an FM radio seems almost trivial in comparison. The same will be true of the added expense of accessories like tinted windows, dual side view mirrors, white white wall tires, white wall tires, or special trims that the salesman might suggest in sequence. The trick is to bring up the extras independently of one another, so that each small price will seem pretty. So that each small price will seem petty when compared to the already determined a much larger one. As a veteran car buyer can attest, many budget-sized final price figure is ballooned from the addition of all those seemingly little options. While the customer stands, signed contract, signed contract in hand, wondering what happened and finding no one to blame but himself. The car dealer stands smiling the annoying smile of the jiu-jitsu master. Title: Reader's Report from a parent of a college code. Dear Mother and Dad, since I left from college, I have been remiss in writing and I am sorry for my thoughtfulness, thoughtfulness, thoughtfulness in not having written before. I will bring you up the date. I will bring you up to date now. But before you read on, please sit down. You are not to you are not to read any further unless you are sitting down, okay? Well, well, then, I'm getting along pretty well now. The skull fracture and the concussions I got when I jumped out when I jumped out the window of my dormitory when it caught on fire shortly after my traveling is pretty well healed now. I only spent 2 weeks in the hospital and now I can see almost normally and only get those sick headaches once a day. Fortunately, the fire in the dormitory and my jump was witnessed by an attendant at the gas station near the dorm. And he was the one who called the fire department and the ambulance. He also visited me in the hospital and since I had nowhere to live because of the burnout at the dormitory, he was kind enough to invite me to share his apartment with him. It's really a basement room, but it's kind of cute. He's a very fine boy and we have fallen deeply in love and I'm planning to get married. We haven't got the exact date yet, but it will be before my pregnancy begins to show. Yes, mother and dad, I am pregnant. I am pregnant. Before my pregnancy begins to show. And again to say it right. Yes, mother and dad, I am pregnant. I know how much you are looking forward to being grandparents, and I know you will welcome the baby and give it the same love and the devotion and tender care you gave me when I was a child. The reasons for the delay in our marriage is that my boyfriend has a minor infection which prevents us from passing our prematerial blood tests, and I carelessly caught it from him. Now that I have brought you up to date, I want to tell you that there was no dormitory fire. I did not have a concussion or skull fracture. I was not in the hospital, and I was not in the hospital. I am not pregnant. I'm not pregnant. I'm not engaged. I'm not engaged. I'm not infected. And there is no boyfriend. However, I'm getting a D in American history and an F in chemistry, and I wanted to see those marks in their proper perspective. Your loving daughter, Sharon. Sharon might be failing chemistry, but she got an A in psychology. Damn, Sharon. Damn. So, guys, guess what? This is the end of the episode. So, guys, thank you very much for joining me. I really appreciate the fact that you choose to invest your time with me. And I can't wait to see you all on Sunday for the next episode, extreme exciting episode of the Guns Book Club in the Vault. Book Club, yeah. Until then, have a great time. Take care of yourself and bye-bye. And guys, today it's Wednesday, Thursday. It's Thursday, 24 on March 2022, and time now it's 2028. And as you see, I really love this book. Learned a lot from it, and I really love the mic. You have to hold it to play with it, and I found it like really professional. I enjoy it. So yeah. יאללה, יום חמישי, 24/3/2022, השעה עכשיו 8:28 בערב. סיימנו להקליט את הפרק הרביעי, עכשיו נוכל לאכול קורנפלקס. להקליט את הפרק החמישי, נעשה הרביעי, ויאללה, UFC 272. נענה את המשפט היומי, את הטיק טוק, ויאללה ניתן בראש, קדימה בהצלחה, מחר נפגש עם קדוש בזום, נראה אם מחר נתפיק לעשות לימודים, או שנעשה את עוד פרקים, כי אני פשוט התמכרתי לפרקים האלה. יאללה, מחר בהצלחה, להתראות.